I typically try to hold off for a while before I give any sort of opinion about a situation. That's always, breaking news. I try to get as much data as possible, but I think at this point, I've waited long enough to try to chime in on this. Um, if you're angry right now about Charlie Kirk, you should be. You should be. I'm angry about what happened to Charlie Kirk. And it's not because I agreed with him on everything that he said or believed in. It's because ultimately Charlie was involved in a thing that I have great respect for, which is welcoming debates, fervent debates in the public sphere and subjecting yourself to the whim of the public for your beliefs. You know, um, just to relate, in my experience in my life, I have been a victim of doxing and vitriol and threats for simply expressing beliefs previously. And I understand how stressful that could be, even on a minor scale. So when you're doing it to the degree that Charlie was involved in it, I guarantee you, as strong of a face as that man put on every single day, I promise you, he was worried about his safety. But what he believed in more concerning freedom of speech uh, was greater than that worry, to the point where he held these events and he didn't even have checkpoints for security or anything like that, is my understanding. Just welcoming everybody in spite of the potential for harm that he was subjecting himself and his family to. That right there, I don't give a fuck who you are. That deserves respect, right? Most of us do not have the courage to put ourselves in the public eye. Most of y'all don't even have the courage to espouse your views to your loved ones, like to really talk about it, right? And you have a man who's on the polar opposite spectrum trying to spark these hard conversations, right? That to me is always going to be worthy of respect. Um, Now, moving forward from this point, you're thinking, what now, right? Like I said, you're justified to be pissed off, but this will not justify further violence. We still have to get more data, although I'd be surprised if this wasn't politically motivated. Some people are already coming up with the theories about this being a trained shooter, with a military background and all that kind of stuff there. People looking at the two guys in the background of the video to say that they were given hand signals. I'm not sure about that. Looking at it, it seems relatively benign, but hey. So what do we do from this point forward as a nation? This one hits differently, right? People will get killed for senseless things all the time and murdered for senseless things, and every single person is important as their own individual, right? But when you have a political figure like this, and Charlie happens to be around the same age as my age group, right? So this hits really close to home in terms of how I feel about it. In that case, um, how do we proceed moving forward? The best way to proceed moving forward is to say fuck you to that shooter and the agenda that they have for division, and come even closer together, have even more discussions, welcome in discussions, and show that we are capable of having a dialogue without letting it come to something like that, right? That will be the biggest fuck you that we can give to that shooter and to their agenda, is to come together even more, to unite and just grow even more, man, as a society, and stop letting these divisive views get in the way of calling each other brother and sister. Um, a lot of you have known that in the past I've espoused a number of very provocative views concerning things, and a lot of things have changed for me over the past few years concerning religious beliefs and convictions and that kind of thing. And it just goes to show, like, I am living proof that people can change views when they're exposed to enough of these hard conversations, right? I have done my best to be open minded, and I know that's what somebody like Charlie was simply trying to accomplish, was to get people to open up, right? Open up. You know, Charlie had some hardline beliefs, some of which I think were pretty bad, to be honest. But still, he put them out there. He let you go at him. How can you not respect that? Like this guy is sitting here in front of an audience of just strangers a lot of times, and he's saying, "Hey, you know, come at me." How can you not respect that? Right? Let's have an intellectual debate. Come at me, I'll come at you. Let's have this talk. And to get shot like that, that video is gruesome. It made me flinch, being what I consider largely desensitized to violence by this point. I mean, that reaction, the blood, it was horrible, man. Nobody should be watching that, man. Um, and I don't know, man. Like at this point here, you know, if you feel angry about it, and if you feel like you're on the edge of doing something crazy, please get some help, man. Talk to somebody. Don't let this turn you into what they want to turn you, man. Which is somebody that's causing even more division. Don't give that shooter that sort of power over you. Move forward, be strong. You know, remember what Charlie did, respect it, and even if you didn't agree, freedom of speech, you know, that's something that we have to keep alive. We have to keep it alive. And we can't sit in fear of violence because that's exactly what people like the murderer who killed Charlie want to accomplish. But anyways, man, I don't want this to drag on too long. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Man, just center yourselves, right? Let's center ourselves and let's focus. This is the time to do it. This is the best time because it'll show the strength that we have as a nation.